From a teenager with the camera at the rock concert to a red carpet with Tom Cruise, Kanye West and Lady Gaga, from New York to Doha.
Yeah, there's a creative hangover, you know?
Exactly. This is what happened to me.
I'm going to write you the craziest brand film you can imagine. And if you love it, then we'll do it. If you don't, then I'm probably not the guy for you. I was like, oh my God, it's Keanu Reeves. And I was like,
big crush.
I think right here on the brim is my favorite. It says pickle on wheels. When I walk in that door, I'm no longer the CEO. I'm no longer the boss. I'm no longer the director. I'm dad. But I feel like fashion can also be a character in your film. You want to just be a kid forever.
Yeah.
And we are blessed to be able to do that.
Hi everyone, my name is Natalia and welcome to a fashion podcast. From a teenager with the camera at the rock concert to a red carpet with Tom Cruise, Kanye West and Lady Gaga, from New York to Doha, and to the position of the CEO of the most successful production company in Qatar film house. It's all the journey in 25 years in one person, and here he is, Justin Kramer. Thank you, Justin, for coming. Happy to have you here. You're a real legend and big honor to me to have you here.
I appreciate it. Hopefully I can live up to the standards of the podcast.
Yeah, definitely you can. So let's start from, as it a fashion podcast, let's start from the fashion question. So what are you wearing today specifically on your head?
Okay, so if we start from the head, I'm wearing a Carhartt hat that my daughter, my 7-year-old daughter Poppy, customized for me. So we like to encourage creativity first. She also painted my shoes.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
Yeah, she's super cool. And then just clothes. This is Calvin Klein. This is a New Zealand brand called I Love Ugly.
Very interesting name.
My socks are from London, No Problemo. And this is a very high fashion brand called Marks and Spencer's.
I see. But in general, you are super fashionable. You're totally matching my podcast. I'm happy for that. Not
Thank
only
you.
with the general topic, but even with your outfit. So what's your favorite painting on the head? On the cap?
Oh, it's tough. I think right here on the brim is my favorite. It says pickle on wheels. I have no idea why she wanted to do a pickle on wheels, but it's her imagination and I embrace that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. So we're gonna talk with you today about one of the most difficult questions in the production industry, from my opinion, and I think, I'm not sure if you support me, how to find a balance between being true to yourself as an artist and a creative person, and how to, in the same time, being able to earn money and satisfy the client for who you're working. So what do you think? How do you balance those things?
Well, I think it's not the hardest thing to do, because both ways you're expressing creativity. One is fully from your imagination for yourself, and the other is using your imagination to help a brand tell their story. So ultimately, you're using the same toolbox, but you just have to compartmentalize and understand that the reason why you're doing it is different. So there are restrictions, obviously, when you deal with a brand who has a very specific message that they want to convey, or a product that they want to sell. But given the freedom, you can go as crazy as you want, as long as they believe what you're doing and it's in line with what they...
Do you have clients who give you freedom now?
Some. Some.
Okay.
Not all.
No.
I wish it was all of them, but no. Some of them do, yeah. Thank God.
Did you ever had an experience when the client totally doesn't like the product that you did? And what you do with that?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. I think there's been plenty of times where we've had to start over from scratch. Sometimes you get a chance to do that, and then you just go back to the drawing board with their notes, with their feedback, and you get right back to it. And other times you realize that the chemistry is not there, or your vision doesn't line up with their vision, and it's just not going to work. And that's unfortunate, but I think that's just the nature of things. And I don't think you should ever take that personally.
It's the biggest problem, actually. Many people take things personally.
For sure. It's hard not to, especially when you're an artist. You want to express
Deliver a
yourself
message.
freely, and
Right.
you want people to appreciate your artwork, whether it's film or music or painting or photography or fashion or whatever it may be. But you also have to remember that you can't please everyone all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just not going to work. And it's okay. It's like a relationship,
Like a relationship.
Exactly.
Okay. So basically work, it's also a relationship.
Of course.
Creative relationship.
Absolutely. It's the relationship between you and your collaborators, you and your client, you and your tools. It's all, I believe it's all equally collaborative,
If you would describe your 1 year compared like commercial projects and the percentage of the creative projects, how would it be, and how you keep up with keeping your creative part active?
Well, I think if I had to break it down, I would say it's 80% commercial projects, 20% fully creative projects. It's really tough to balance that, to be honest. It's, you realize that work is work. And at the end of the day, you need to pay your bills. You need to, in my position, I have to make sure that the staff are all paid. I have to make sure that the roof over our head is paid, our equipment, everything is taken care of. So there's a big responsibility there. And it's one I don't take lightly. It's one that I'm very serious about. And I appreciate that I've been put in a position where so many people rely on me and rely on the company as a whole to keep them fed, keep their kids in school, keep their car on the road. But I think 80-20 is a fair assumption, and that 20% is what recharges your batteries for the rest of the 80. And
are you doing this per season? How do you choose the time when you actually have this freedom? Or it depends, like, oh my God, I'm fed up, I cannot do this anymore, let's make a break now. Like,
it can be a bit of both.
I see.
Sometimes you can choose the season based on how busy or not busy you are as a company. And then other times it is just, you have to do it. And if you don't, you'll go crazy.
I see. Is the summer is that season? Is now we should expect
I wish
something?
it was. I wish it was the dead season. Weirdly, this year, it's the most busy.
Come on, don't complain.
I'm not complaining. I'm traveling anyway. So,
you are traveling. I see.
No, but
So summer is busy for you.
Summer's very busy.
Wow.
I don't know
That's
why
great.
it is, but in Qatar, it seems that clients hibernate. In the winter, they sleep. And then,
Really?
And then as soon as it becomes summer, they realize, oh my goodness, we need to start doing
It's hot
something.
outside. It's time to shoot,
Let's
right?
go outside and shoot.
Yeah.
And it's like, why not shoot in the winter? But, we take it as we can. When they need to shoot is when we have to shoot. So.
Do you have a lot of last minute projects? Because from my experience, I know it's pretty much last minute country, but in terms of the project, but it can be in your case when you have so much equipment and people involved. Can it be last minute stuff?
90% of it
Are you
feels
serious?
last minute. Yeah, I
Wow.
mean, it's we work in an industry that we have this saying, hurry up and wait, right?
I
So
see.
it's, everything is urgent. You need to do this. You need to submit budgets. You need to submit treatments. You need to write and do all these things. And then you submit it. And then for some reason you wait for a long time for approval.
Yeah, but then suddenly, boom.
Yeah.
I remember working with you guys. It was like sometimes you have few hours before the mall closed and this is where you need to buy. But I can tell you that it generates so much possibilities out of the person. It's impossible. Like you think like, oh my God, this t-shirt and this color just don't exist, but the client wanted, and then it exists,
Yeah.
somehow by some kind of magic.
It's true. I mean, I think that's the beauty of this industry as well, is like, and I always say this to people, is that our job is we play make-believe for a living, which is what you always wanted to do as a kid. You want to just be a kid forever.
Yeah.
And we are blessed to be able to do that, because ultimately we are putting on a show, we're performing, we're putting make-believe on screen, and
True.
that's amazing. And what happens is these strange doors open all the time, And it's when you think that you can't do it and you think that
Yes,
there's no
true.
way,
True.
you have talented people around you who are all in line with the same vision, and they somehow make it happen. And even for me, like to this day, I'm always like surprised and blown away by what people are able to achieve. You know, as a director, I'm there and I have my own set of priorities and working with actors, and then I can turn around and look and see what's happening behind the scenes, and I'm like, wow, like this is incredible. These people are incredible, and I can't believe they pulled this off.
Nice.
So yeah, and we're all just a small piece of a very big puzzle.
Yeah, it feels like a different world when you're working on the project. It feels like you live in a separate, especially Champions of Hope, which we did during the Corona time. It was such an amazing experience. Like you live in one world and you exit and you feel like it's totally different, and you sometimes confused between those, right?
Definitely. Yeah, there's a creative hangover. You know,
Yeah,
like,
exactly. This is what happened to me. I had once for a couple of weeks, creative hangover. I see.
yeah, because you dive in so deep into the project
True.
that, you know, it's difficult to come back out of that and be normal for a little bit, you know. And
True.
sometimes we have that liberty where we have like a small period in between projects where we can, okay, let me switch gears, let me go back in, start a new thing. Other times you don't have that, and you have to go straight into something else, and it's very hard for the creative mind to reset.
True.
But
What
yeah.
you used to reset for yourself? Movie, sleeping, family, daughters?
I mean, definitely family.
family.
Family is the biggest for me. Is my wife and my daughters are. When I walk in that door, I'm no longer the CEO. I'm no longer the boss. I'm no longer the director. I'm dad,
That's
and I'm the
beautiful.
husband, and
Yeah.
I'm there to have fun and help guide my children into, you know, being the best they can be, and, you know, being the best husband I can be, and that's my most important job, like
Yeah.
well beyond
Cool.
anything else I do.
That's very beautiful. I love that about you. But if talking about the job, and talk about the fashion job, so what was your favorite project on that field, like incorporated into the film house when you did the fashion project?
Yeah, so I mean, I would have to say, still to this day, it would be the first brand film we did for the Mondrian.
Yeah, by the way, that video is still rolling. If you go to Mondrian Hotel next to elevator, you can see the video, and inside the elevator, right?
That's right.
So that's done by him and company, and a big company. It's awesome.
I mean, for me, that was like the way that project came about was amazing. They were opening the hotel, and they had been in touch, and my producer said they want us to come visit it. And I was like 3 days away from traveling, and my wife and I were going on a delayed honeymoon.
I see.
So I was like, look, I really don't have the time. I don't have the time. And she said, you really have to come and see this place.
Your wife or the producer?
No, the producer.
Wife say don't go, right?
And I was like, okay, I'll come.
Okay,
I probably won't be able to do it, but I'll come and see the place.
I see.
And I walked in and I was like, wow, like this place is,
And you start to have ideas?
yeah, and
Right?
crazy ideas. And I said to them there and then, I said, listen, I'm going to be away for a little bit. While I'm away, I'll work on some ideas. And it's a sort of take it or leave it. You know,
I see.
I'm going to write you the craziest brand film you can imagine. And if you love it, then we'll do it. If you don't, then I'm probably not the guy for you. So
you
while
put
we
kind
were
of
away,
very certain boundaries, like for that one, right? Or you let me do it, or don't touch me.
kind of in a way,
I
because I was so consumed with other work and other
I
things
see.
that I was, you know, I probably shouldn't have been as strict as I was.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, it worked because while we were away, my wife and I were like, we were talking about this thing, and I was showing her pictures of the hotel,
Yeah.
and we started to brainstorm, like, what would be the craziest thing we could put
the
in there?
horse
Yeah.
inside the.
And we
What
put,
else? What you had the crazy?
We
things?
had gazelles in the
Gazelles.
hallway, you know, things like painting a bodybuilder gold, and these sort of Alice in Wonderland themed things, and you know, we were just like exploring what are the most attractive and eye-catching moments that we can stage within these spaces, and making sure that we complement the space as well. And that ended up being essentially a high fashion film, very surreal, almost like Salvador Dali meets Alice in Wonderland, and they believed in it, and they said, yeah, we love this, let's do it. And very few, I think every idea that we had got approved.
Yeah, it feels like that was the project when the client met your creative part, and it like kind of happened, right? That you enjoyed the both.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was incredible. And I love that, and it's a memory that'll live with me forever. So I'd have to say that project.
Nice. What about the working with the Mathaf Museum? I know that you love modern art a lot.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit what was, I don't know, maybe most challenging thing in that project?
Well, I mean, I had never done a dance film before, right? I strictly, there is a narrative there, but it's a dance film. And when we were approached about that, I was very excited because my colleague Dimitri had already done a dance film for the National Museum.
Yeah.
And that is a very clear narrative about a woman who's a photojournalist, and she's on a trip, and then she's inspired and she dances through the space. Now, when it came to Mathaf, Pascal, who works at Qatar Museums, and she used to work at the film house, it was her sort of brainchild to do this.
The director, Pascal, she works in Qatar Museums now.
Yes,
wow.
Yes, she's
After
incredible.
This project or before?
Before, yeah. So she was sort of the commissioning producer of this project.
I see.
And she already had a very clear idea of what she wanted to do. And
I worked with her.
She's amazing.
She's amazing.
And I bought into it immediately. I was like, I'm on board with this, and I want to make this amazing. And we found an amazing dancer from France. And we worked with her a lot before she came here, choreographing these pieces. And what we did was we picked key artworks within the museum, and we focused in on that and the emotions around those artworks, and then choreographed it based on those artworks. So each scene has a very different feel, and as the character explores the museum more, she starts to come out of her shell. She starts to, at first she's very uptight. She's very, you can tell in the way her hair is and her wardrobe and everything, and the way she carries her body. And as the days go on and she visits the museum more, she becomes more open and free, and the movements become more open and free. And
like you see the influence of the art on the person, right?
Exactly. And I feel like the fashion too is directly in line with the scene, right? So whether that's the color palette or the flowiness of it, or straight lines versus a more,
I like the way you talk about fashion.
Yeah. Well, I think, I think fashion is such an underrated element of what we do, because it can be understated and not be the character, but I feel like fashion can also be a character in your film. And it can elevate it to a whole new level when you have colors or textures or different ways of wearing things or layering things or stripping things back. It can really just change the whole feeling of it. Like, for example, I did another project for Mondrian, and we had this really amazing model come from Dubai, and we had her in the most elegant and the most feminine things. And there was one scene in a bar that I was like, for me, this bar is punk rock. And I'm going to dress you punk rock. So I took some of my old band t-shirts and cut them up and put her in a leather jacket.
You cut your own t-shirts?
Yeah.
Wow.
Nothing's sacred. And it was like channeling the Vivienne Westwood and the early punk rock scene. And she absolutely hated it.
Oh my God.
She was like, I do not like the way I look. I don't feel myself. And I was like, look, you have to trust me.
Yeah.
When you see the shot, when you see the scene, you'll understand why I did this.
Yeah.
And it's the juxtaposition between the scenes where one, she's wearing this most feminine and beautiful low-cut dress and everything, and then the next scene she's in full punk rock, and then the next scene she's in like a man's tuxedo, and I think she got it afterwards.
Yeah.
She probably still doesn't forgive me for that, but I felt like it worked.
Yeah, that's so cool. I want to ask you something going back to the clothes. Like people like Steve Jobs, he was pretty simple and minimalistic in his style. And some people it feels like they are protecting themselves from to be able to be creative, they need to remove all the factors away from them and be very plain and simple. Do you believe in that? Like, you personally using this for yourself? Like,
I mean,
no? Clothes cannot be destruction.
Well, I don't ever think of clothes as a uniform, right? And I think I think there are people that are that way. You know, like one of my favorite musicians of all time, and the first concert I ever went to as a kid was Johnny Cash.
Oh, really? You got to Johnny Cash concert?
Yeah, my father took me when I was a kid.
So cool.
And Johnny Cash had a motto about being the man in black, right? Yeah. He only wore black, and that was for the downtrodden, the depressed, the mourning for the working class, right? And I believe in that, and I believe that is his motif. You know, that's how he expressed himself. But I think that every morning I wake up and I feel different, right? And I don't think, I don't put as much thought into what I'm wearing besides how I feel that moment, right? Like, and when I'm getting dressed, it's like some days I'm gonna wear leopard print pants with a Liverpool football shirt, and people might think like, what the hell is he wearing? Like, why is he dressed that way? And other days I'll wear all black, or other days I'll dress like this.
You used to wear a hat. Was it a certain message from you? Like, you used to wear it a lot.
Yeah, I wore it all the time.
Why? Or like,
I still wear it sometimes, but I felt so that hat, it became part of me. It became part of my identity in a way. And then one day I just decided, you know what? Like, I don't want to be the hat, you know? Like, I don't want to be that person. Yeah. And it also, it had its advantages and disadvantages, right? So when you wear something that's quite striking, or it becomes part of your identity, people recognize you everywhere. And
remembers. Like, you're like for them.
Exactly.
Working brand, working charisma,
but that's also
right?
a bad thing, because then you can never be under the radar.
I see.
So anywhere you go, if people see that hat, they know there's Justin from across the room. And sometimes you just you don't feel social. You don't feel like you want to have that attention on you.
People recognize you a lot in Doha?
I mean, I've been here.
Secure a supermarket to shop?
I've been here for 15 years, so... And I've met a lot of people along the way. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that recognize me. But I'm also a very personable person. I love speaking to people.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I still wear the hat sometimes, but
on the mood.
Not every day anymore.
Not every day.
Not every day.
Speaking about personal, you have an amazing wife, Lauren, and 2 kids. Is your personal life help you to elevate your career, or it kind of sometimes stopping you from working more, or it doesn't work like this for you?
No, I don't. I never feel restrained by having a family. For me, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me, and it motivates me to work smarter.
What do you mean, work smarter?
So making sure I utilize my time properly.
I see. So you have priority for family, work. So
exactly.
Like planning.
Because before you have a family, you can work 20 hours and it's fine. You don't notice. Like, you just go about your thing and you just do whatever you're doing, and you can get distracted and you get lost in things. You go down a rabbit hole of YouTube. All of a sudden, you're researching God knows what. But now, like, you have or at least I have a rhythm that I stick with, and I make sure that I stay focused when I'm working. I have clear deadlines and targets, so that when I get home, I don't take my laptop out and I'm not distracted from my children. When they go to sleep, sometimes I start working again, but until then, no, it's fully in it.
That's very cool.
Fully in it.
Very cool tip. And the phone away, right?
The phone stays down until everyone's in bed.
I see. Nice.
Yeah, you have to set boundaries for yourself. And we have a very finite amount of time on Earth, and if that's why like the invention of WhatsApp is so devastating.
Yeah.
I use it, of course, like everybody stays in touch via WhatsApp, but like it means you're on call 24 hours a day. We're all doctors now.
Yeah.
Whereas doctors, when I was a kid, they used to have pagers, like beepers, right?
True.
And they could be in the middle of a function and a beeper goes off. I got to get to the hospital. Now we are all doctors, because at any time our clients can reach out to us and say, I need something for tomorrow morning. Can you do it? I know it's 1 o'clock in the morning, but please. Like, I think that creating that separation is a must. I think there's a time and a place where you have to do that, and you have to be there, and because you want to maintain a good relationship with your clients, but you also have to say, this can wait till tomorrow morning.
I see. Yeah, makes sense. Tell me more about your work with the famous actors. You definitely gone for a number of movies of Tom Cruise before you met him, right? And other, or no?
I mean,
I didn't.
To be honest, I never really watched a lot of Tom Cruise movies.
Okay.
But he was one of the first celebrities that we worked with, like when I was at Tribeca Film Festival, and he was premiering Mission Impossible 3. And
so you didn't watch Mission Impossible 1 and 2?
I've never seen
right?
any of the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah, does he
it's
know?
Crazy.
I don't think
he knows.
He wouldn't.
Do you think he's going to watch this podcast? I hope so. If he does,
well,
I'm sorry.
yes, I have big ambitions for that. So.
I'm sorry, Mr. Cruise.
Yeah.
One day I'll watch them, I promise. But I'm waiting till the last one comes out, and then I'll watch all of them.
Yeah. So let's say if Tom Cruise was not that person, maybe Lady Gaga. When you work with her, you said it was the first ever her
first
being
ever TV performance.
On the TV performance, right? So how do you feel like when you talk to these people, when you work with them? Are they the same in your mind than when you see them, or it's something different?
Well, ironically, with the Lady Gaga thing, because it was her first ever TV appearance, no one really knew her. And I had no idea who she was.
Okay.
And I distinctly remember turning to someone I was working with after she performed on the show, and I said, she's never gonna make it.
Seriously? Wow.
And
Lady
I was
Gaga.
so wrong.
It was him.
I was so wrong.
You see, he was so wrong.
But in general, when you work with celebrities, I think it's very important to not create a vision of them that they can't live up to. They're normal people. Sure, a lot of them get jaded by this stardom and they become very strange or very demanding. But I find that some of the biggest celebrities I've ever worked with, like two of my favorite athletes I've ever had in my life, Tom Brady and David Beckham.
Okay.
Both of them are the most down-to-earth, friendly, like would give you the shirt off their back if you needed it. Amazing people. Sometimes what you find with celebrities is that the people around them are more difficult to deal with than them.
I see. They protecting these boundaries, which they earn out of it, not the person himself,
of course,
right?
And the demands and the. But I understand it. Like, it's all part of the game, right? It's all part of, doing your job and making sure that there's no blame put on you for anything. But then on the other hand, there are celebrities I worked with that when we said that's a wrap, I never wanted to see again. I won't say who, but quite a few.
I see.
But yeah, I mean, celebrities, it's an interesting thing. Like, we put these people up on pedestals and we worship them in this sort of weird godlike thing. And for me, I've never felt that way about celebrities. I've never been like so starstruck, or the most starstruck I ever was, which is the weirdest thing, is I was in a small alleyway next to my university and I was doing something I shouldn't have been doing. And I turned the corner and I bumped into this person, this towering man. And I sort of stepped back and I looked and I was like, oh my God, it's Keanu Reeves. And I was like,
big crush.
and this was the
Yeah.
first, I mean, I think it was because I was caught off guard
Oh my God.
that I was like, oh my God, Keanu, like, I loved you in Bill and Ted. And he was like, oh, thank you. And he just like walked off. And I was just like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I live in New York and this is going to happen on the regular. And, you know, you could be walking past the diner and there's Harvey Keitel outside and there's, you know, these celebrities all over the place. And you kind of you start to build up this sort of immunity to celebrity. And you go, they're just normal people.
Yeah.
They're just going about their day. They're having a cup of coffee. They're shopping. They're on a date, you know, whatever. I watched, there's a movie called Into the Wild, which was directed by Sean Penn. And I went with a friend and I was sitting in the cinema. And then during the film, I sort of just glanced over and I realized Heath Ledger was sitting next to me in the cinema. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sadly, he died like a few months after that.
Oh.
And, but it was just, you know, it's cool
Yeah, it's totally
to see
cool.
these people because, again, we put them up on these pedestals, but they're not.
True, they maybe want to be hidden. I just want to watch a movie.
If I'm going to worship anybody, it's going to be my wife. You know, that's how
beautiful.
how it has
Wow.
to be.
That's amazing. I want to ask you to summarize our conversation today. I know that I remember that you told me that Film House were open 2012.
Yep.
And until now, you have some clients who stick with you for all this time and you still keep surprising them and making them happy. So for those, I know that many people, hopefully many people on the field who have a new production company or who are just starting the journey, they hopefully watch this episode, and some piece of advice to them, how to make people still surprise and keep them continuously book you within the years, within such a long, more than a decade.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing when I hear you say it. Like it sounds more amazing to me than when I think about it. Number one, I think you have to always be honest. Always be honest with your client about what you can and can't do. Always be honest about what is achievable within a budget.
Even if you lose the client?
Even if you lose the client, because the worst thing you can do is set false expectations.
I see.
If you talk yourself up, but you can't back that up, you have a big problem, because then you're going to have a very unhappy client who's not going to come back to you. If you're honest with them about what they can do and what you can do and how you can work together, then you can't lose, because then you have this relationship that you've built where you trust each other.
True.
And I think in all things in life, in our relationships, our friendships, our marriages, our, you know, friends and colleagues, and if you trust each other, you'll go to the ends of the earth with each other.
True.
And the other thing is, you have to constantly reinvent yourself. You know, and I think of this, like, if we're talking about in like fashion terms,
Okay.
right? Like David Bowie
Yeah.
or Madonna. These are two great examples of icons who were never the same person from one year to the next.
True.
Stylistically, their music, the way they dressed, everything about them was constantly evolving into something more interesting. And I feel like you have to do that. If you stay stuck in your way, you can't continue to surprise anyone, you know, and you need to be able to constantly level up, you know, and to do that, you have to explore new techniques, you have to explore new mediums, you have to push boundaries, you have to experiment, really. I mean, it's all about experimentation, and there are safe times to do that, which is with your own projects. And then if it works, then you can implement that for a client. You can say, okay, I tried this thing on, you know, if you're doing a design, right, and you do a pair of pants that you love and you're like, oh my God, these are amazing. I have this client who I think would really love this as well. Then you can do it. But you never use your client for the trial and error period.
I see.
Your experiments should be behind closed doors. And when they work, then you bring them out to the public.
That's a very good piece of advice.
I think.
I had an amazing chat, and I respect you so much as a person, as a professional. Thank you, Justin, for coming today
I appreciate
and participating in the episode. And guys, finishing this episode, I want to tell you, like, to summarize the thing that be experimental and be true to yourself and to your client. And as per Justin and per me, I think this is the very good potential to be successful in what you are doing, whatever it is. Thank you for watching this episode and stay tuned for much more. Bye.
Also, if you ever want to dress me in your clothes, I'll happily wear them for you.
Yeah. Okay.